holiday today. Boulder holds the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, and we'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first, we're going to go check in with Larry Green, a man who is... No, wait a minute. Now, let's see. That is... Can you kill that picture for a second? Boy, is that embarrassing.
The jet was on a training mission when it went down just south of the base. But the pilot and the co-pilot both managed to ejaculate safely.
A Coast Guard spokesman says as they approached, they cut their nets and ran for Canadian waters where they were boarded.
Hannington has warned that at least a third of uncooked chickens on sale in the UK are contaminated. He claims they contain an orgasm.
Here's the cold temperatures, a big mass of cold temperatures coming down. Whoops, I messed up there. Mass. Everybody here in the studio is dying very badly. I did not mean that. We're family sensitive.
Zolabad has been named by the English cross-country selectors for their team at the World Championship in Portugal next month, despite the tremendous disappointment of having been forced to run out in the English Championships today. So that brings us to the end of our programme. Now let's have a look at the cupsucker.
News for now. Our next lunch is at lunchtime tomorrow.
Footballers were not always non-smokers. I could tell you of two who played for Newcastle United during those famous cup finals of the 1950s and were delighted to hear the referee's whistle at half-time so they could go in and light up in the Wembley dressing room. It is different now, of course. You never ever see a professional smoker playing football.
Welcome to Anglia News on Sunday with me, David Hughes.
To you on Southport tonight, how the Saints, complete with Kevin Keegan, got the new league season off to a dramatic winning start. And we've got the Meister himself, Laurie McMenemy. Oh, what a pillock.
Bob Stovall has the long-standing reputation as being the custodian of the General Motors bellwether theory, which maintains that as GM stock goes, so goes the market in general. And I asked him to give us an update on the validity of that argument.
Second edition of 7 National News tonight at 10:35, and we talk at length to Youth, Sport and Recreation Minister Neil Tresize. Would you please shut up, for Christ's sake, I'm on air. Excuse me.
Arranged marriage is abhorrent to most Australians, and the auto cue has gotten stuck.
Guys, their second consecutive winning season, and sets up their final game at Michigan State with a bowl still possible. John Campbell, TV9 Eyewitness Sports at Kinnick Stadium with an asshole.
But traffic wardens are hardly a Belfast phenomenon. Keep it on. But traffic wardens are hardly a Belfast phenomenon. Phenomenon. Hello. Phenomenon. No. Phenomenon. Keep it on here, I guess that's right. But traffic wardens are hardly a Belfast phenomenon. Can't get this? Hold on. Phenomenon. But traffic wardens are hardly a Belfast phenomenon. Phenomenon. Right. Phenomenon. No, that's clear. Phenomenon. But traffic wardens are hardly a Belfast phenomenon. But traffic wardens aren't exactly peculiar to Belfast.
Alcohol, liquor, booze.
To raise money.
Yeah, we've had a number of staff events over the last couple of weeks. There's been a sponsored parachute jump. There's been discos, sponsored Help Me John.
Managers in stocks. We had a fun day out at Lydiard Park. It really has been a busy time in Ado Telethon.
And did you do a parachute jump?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, 15 staff did, actually. One unfortunately broke their leg.
That's fantastic. And what about...
Very personal question.
Yes?
What do you wear in bed, madam?
Pardon?
What do you wear when you go to bed?
What do you think about all the buses going through this pedestrianised area?
I haven't noticed any particularly.
You know this is the most expensive garage in Lewisham?
Probably.
Does it worry you?
Not really, considering we own it.
Can you tell us the story about how Simon Fraser came to be buried here?
Because you died.
Excuse me, do I have a couple of words with you? If I said to you, there was a problem with low-level ozone in this area, would you know what I was talking about?
Yeah, I'm a particle physicist.
Just briefly describe what you hope to achieve by today's event. Well, I think today is the second stage. Okay. We'll try that one again. Okay. What do you hope to achieve by today's event?
Well, today is a follow-up of the song.
How long is this indefinite action going to continue? Indefinitely.
What's your name, Michelle?
Michelle.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, son?
Fine.
What's your name?
James.
James, where are you from?
From my mom's house.
Your mom's house? Where does your mom live?
At her house.
A snooker player.
Steve Davis.
Good, now you're getting somewhere. Right, one more.
Jimi Hendrix. Is he one?
When is the best time to exercise?
Most of us like to exercise when we're awake.
Already listed as in residents for the September Working Day.
If you were an outsider, would you still come to Scarborough for your holidays?
Oh, definitely. You know, God has been very kind to us. Look at this. 2 wonderful bays, a castle, sunshine. Oh, what more do you want? Why go to the Mediterranean? They've nothing more to offer.
Thank you very much.
If you believe that load of bullshit, you believe it.
In an effort to keep people from falling through the ice, the Coast Guard...
Tonight begins the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. And standing by at his home, live with Instant Eye, is Rabbi Bradley Bliefeld of the Baltimore Hebrew Congregation with his family. And now they will light the first light of Hanukkah.
Praised are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has kept us in life, sustained us, and permitted us to reach this joyous occasion. Amen.
Rabbi Bliefeld, this is Richard Scher, and we'd like you to explain the significance of Hanukkah, if you would.
Religious freedom. We commemorate the time over 2,000 years ago when a small group of Jews fought for their religious freedom against the Assyrians. And indeed has a special meaning this year because we of the Jewish community share in the concern of hostages being held in Iran. They too are suffering under a contemporary form of religious tyranny.
In addition, some savings and loans like First Federal are trying to get advance commitments on all saver certificates for a minimum deposit of... Bye.
Now across to Nick in Wembley with a rather special piece of silverware. Nick.
Hello, welcome to the Wembley dressing room of the playoff winners, Huddersfield Town. We're here live.
And now for a look at what we'll have at 10 tonight. Here's News 7's Ann Lindstrom. Thanks, Kim. Coming up tonight at 10.
Inspire and sell secrets to Soviet Union.
3, 2, 1. There may be a...
Take this train, the TGV, and 1.5 hours later on the Train de Grande Vitesse, France's fast train, you find yourself here in Dijon, the heart of Burgundy. An area where the Pinot Noir grape mingles with the Chardonnay to produce some of the finest wines in the world. So join us as we explore Burgundy country. Wait a minute. This is our train.
Let's see.
from January to October, the driest 10 months. What we actually need is a heavy downpour lasting from now until March to give us a chance of avoiding any problems later in the year.
Oh, what's Alan doing? Have you got a problem there, Alan?
It's just the thing that connects me to the studio has dropped out of my pocket and I don't want it to land in the water.
Now, there's another thing that pedestrians do on Father's...
Our reporter Kay Burley has been down to Buckingham Palace, where traditionally they pin the news on the gate. Let's see the crowds.
Well, as you can see...
Ceremonies underway at this hour from the Bob Hope Center for Eye Surgery at Presbyterian Hospital.
Action 4's Scott Wallace is standing by live at the ceremonies with the latest. Scott?
Well, of course, Bob Hope is one of America's favorite entertainers. He's also one of Oklahoma's favorites. And in fact, he's on the stand right now during this dedication ceremony. So let's listen in to see what Mr. Hope has to say.
Thank you very, very much.
That was the music from it, Peter and the Wolf, at the beginning of the programme. Hello, there goes my notes. The programme is something of a triple celebration, a quadruple celebration, because we're celebrating our 25th birthday.
Now, CHEX News Watch, late edition.
Good evening at last.
News Scene 7, this is News Brief.
Good morning. How are you?
Drinking bottled water doesn't appear to be just another fad. This water is taking its place in the lifestyles of a growing number of us. Pretty good. Dan Reynolds, Newsbeat 6.
Looking at the mountain behind you, how confident are you of getting to the top? Well,
Qatar is one of Europe's largest nudist colonies.
To show you how cold it is, I've left this pliable plastic tube immersed in the liquid nitrogen. You're supposed to break!
Well, Sloane Brown has a... You can see her in the background. She, unfortunately, is on crutches tonight, so... Sloane Brown fell down.
Spying on Romania. The Team England faced second in this summer's World Cup.
Read on. Brian Little and Aston Villa.
Behind this door is a Miss Bond, a Jane Bond, and we've selected her for a very special mission. Let's go.
Here now, a big change from when the Who were here this past summer. 60,000 people.
We hope that it gets better. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.
MFS has traditionally been a provider of telecom services. Reading into the camera there. It's all right. We'll do that turn again. Sorry. Don't. Sorry. Is that right? That was good. Okay. That was fine. Yeah. That's it? Yep. Oh. Thanks very much.
One of the fiercest critics of the District Council's failure to provide it...
So what can people do to help? Well, they could, first of all, as far as this vehicle is concerned, is look out for a vehicle that may be abandoned in their road somewhere. And we think it was probably somewhere along the A217 towards London, but that's not necessarily the case. And we'd be grateful if they would look for this particular vehicle. It's a silver green BMW, registration number ART242Y.
Isn't it that one there?
Oh, sorry.
And the unceasing fight against crime continues.